This Johnny Test reboot sucks. But it's not the only one. Let's break this down. There's a new episode of Johnny Test, and to my amazement, Johnny Test was trending #1 on Twitter. Now, this might not be a surprise to some of you, because apparently there's been a Johnny Test reboot in the works for quite a while now. The show had been rumored to return, and apparently this was the release date. I'm not a big member of the Johnny Test community. I'm gonna out myself right now. But regardless, this was an event. Johnny Test is one of the most notoriously controversial cartoons. I guess I'll use that word. People hated it. A lot of people hated it. It became a meme. The biggest thing it gave us was the beauty of Bling Bling Boy. We all thank the Lord for his creation, as he's the best of all of us. Look at him. But as of today, the 5-minute first episode of the Johnny Reboot web series, that was as weird to say as it sounded, dropped today. Made by the entertainment company Wildbrain, which is just a really large media company. It's got a lot of shows it distributes. Like Degrassi, I'm just gonna write this all off as Canadian. Like I said, I don't pay too much attention to Johnny Test, so this reboot only now just hit my radar, but others have been waiting patiently for this. I will not out them, Osterbach. But sadly, guys, the response was less than ideal. Needless to say, Twitter absolutely went off, tearing this thing to shreds, basically ripping it apart brutally. I mean, Johnny Test was #1 trending, and it wasn't for good thing. People were flaming this short endlessly for its animation and just its overall vibe, calling it lazy, and a lot of other words that I can't say because I don't want to get demonetized. Needless to say, Wildbrain disabled comments. But okay, was all this hate necessary? Did the Johnny Test reboot deserve all of this? Well, let's look over the episode, okay? It starts in typical Johnny Test fashion, with Johnny walking in his sister's lab. They're already in the middle of one of their weird experiments, those quirky girls, where they narcissistically brought all of the different versions of them from different dimensions, I guess, to like talk about science and that one boy that they're obsessed with. Which, now that I talk about it, Gil looks like a TikTok e-boy. It's way ahead of his time. I don't know, I just want to point that out. Needless to say, Johnny does what he does best and just messes everything up, bringing tons of versions of himself into the world, which we really only needed one Johnny. One is enough. For some reason, his goal is to form a bowling team, which I think is actually kind of so weird. It was really funny. But a problem arises when evil Johnny comes out. And I kid you not, they only find out because they took a selfie at the perfect time. No one noticed him walking out. If they had not taken this picture, what would have happened? I don't know. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Johnny is like in love with himself, which I think is like some sort of deep metaphor. I don't want to think too much about the details. Moving on. So they go back to the lab to stop evil Johnny, which I don't know why they assume he's evil. I mean, I guess because he's red. I guess that's the law. Anyways, yeah, surprise, surprise. He took the dimension machine, whatever they called it. Johnny and the gang go to rescue his sisters and save the day, which they ultimately do by flashing the camera in his face, shoving him in, which works. Of course it works. Why would that not work? Anyways, they push him back in the dimension machine, but he's like, "You won't see the last of me," which of course you probably won't. I kind of hope this is the last time we see him, but you know, we'll see what happens. The machine destroys itself, which is honestly kind of an L because that was like a sick machine. And they end by just screaming at him because he sucks and really ruined the entire day. He's very selfish, this Johnny Test. So they managed to do all that in 5 minutes. And I remember watching it being like, the pacing here is kind of fast, but they're really doing a good job of telling a Johnny Test episode in a limited time span. But nevertheless, people had a lot of issues with this episode. Mostly the animation. People are saying it looks like DeviantArt or some kind of low-grade Flash animation, and I'll give in a little bit. It's true. It does not have the animation quality that the original show had. But to the people that are saying that this ruined their childhood, have you seen the original Johnny Test? I mean, this is not Fantasia. This was kind of lowbrow for the time. Other than that, I mean, it was just a standard episode of Johnny Test. I don't understand the hate. I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here, okay? The animation was bad and it was 5 minutes. Maybe there were some flaws. I don't know. Maybe I thought the jokes were stupid. But the point was, they're obviously working on a far more limited budget for what is obviously a web show. Now, I don't think they understand that the quality for what a web show is has been raised exponentially since, I don't know, 2006. This is not what flies on the internet anymore. But I love this episode. I really did. It was just kind of fun. I don't know. You can flame me in the comments. Go ahead. I had a fun time watching it. You know, it was stupid. It was like Johnny Test. I don't know what you wanted from them. Do you want like a story arc? I mean, they kind of tried to set it up with evil Johnny. Is that good enough for you, Reddit? I don't actually know if Reddit watches Johnny Test. Yeah, I was sad that there was no Bling Bling Boy, but that's really my only honest criticism. Now, you could argue that there was no way that this had even a fighting chance because the internet's consensus on Johnny Test is that it sucks and it's horrible and like the whip crack sound effect meme. You know, that's really all people know. But I would implore you to watch this not as an animation critic, but as somebody passively enjoying 5 minutes of goofy animation that at the end of the day you could take or leave. No one's forcing you to watch this. Johnny Test is a show that people usually like to dogpile because it's really easy to, but I think it's always better to give something a fair chance, especially something like this, which obviously came out the gate with a less than ideal circumstance. My biggest question is I don't know why they did this at all. Maybe I'm wrong, and I could be, but I didn't see a lot of people clamoring for more Johnny Test episodes. In fact, when it ended, I remembered it being kind of celebrated on the internet, like a finally moment. But this goes a lot deeper than whatever web series reboot that Wild Brain put out, because there is definitely another Johnny Test reboot happening with the original cast. I'm gonna start off by crediting the incredible Nintendo, world's biggest Johnny Test fan, and my personal hero, for this excellent Twitter thread where he basically explained the situation, saying that the Johnny Test reboot is definitely still happening, crediting an animation reel from the studio Smash Bits, and even some episode concepts for what this new series could be. Even confirmation from the voice of Dookie, Trevor Duvall, that the original voice cast is coming back. Now, we're not unfamiliar with the concept of shows being rebooted, and although I am kind of surprised that they rebooted Johnny Test, you have to remember, Johnny Test is a huge cartoon that aired successfully for quite a long time. There's a lot of haters, sure, but those are all people that know about the show and just show how big it is. Johnny lives in their head rent-free. I have no idea how this other reboot web series happened at all. Maybe it was some sort of contract thing, or maybe these Johnny Test episodes were made in the past. I literally have no idea. But how do we know for certain that there's going to be another proper reboot on top of these shorts? Well, besides the Twitter thread from Nintendo, we're going off of this infamous tweet by Wild Brand themselves, posted in January of this year, saying that Johnny Test is back for what they're calling a revamp. The main thing here is that if they were recruiting new people in January, there's no way they could have had these episodes done. And the fact that they're calling it a revamp shows that they really want to make this a proper reboot, not like whatever these shorts are. But that's exactly it. This is titled The Lost Web Series. This is probably something that's been done for a while and never been released. And they figured, you know, why not just put it out there while they wait for this actual reboot that we're seriously working on. Either way, these episode concepts look incredibly promising to original fans of Johnny Test. Things like the Tinymon episodes are going to be making an appearance, and even a YouTube episode. That sounds vague. Hopefully, with the original voice cast too, it'll be like the show never missed a beat. But this one doesn't really have a release date, and it's kind of up in the air. We just know that it's definitely still happening. Fingers crossed. But needless to say, the internet's reaction, good or bad, showed that there's still a lot of people paying attention to this franchise. So I guess there's gonna be more Johnny Test episodes coming out soon. Sooner than we expect, or at least than I expected. Maybe this will fizzle out. I don't know if anyone's even gonna care about the other episodes if they release them, but I hope it finds an audience. There's a team of people working behind every piece of animation, so just remember that before you flame something endlessly. It's easy to lose your sympathy when animation looks really bad or something like that, and it's easy to write something off. And you know what? No, it's literally a 5-minute flash animation of Johnny Test. If you want to hate this, you can hate it. To each his own. I liked it. But as always, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Are you excited for more Johnny Test? Did you even see this coming? Let us know in the comments down below, or tweet to us at Roundtable Vids or me at Nemo. If you want to consider helping out the Roundtable, you can become a member of the channel or support us on Patreon. Guys, I'm Nemo. This is a Johnny Test video, and I will see you next time. Peace.